Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and I'm going to be recapping How I Met Your Mother, The Wedding, which was originally released on the 9th of January 2006. I'm recording this episode about 19.5 years later, on the 13th of June 2025. Before I get on with the recap of that episode, I want to talk about a few podcast-related things too. It actually relates to How I Met Your Mother, otherwise it would make no sense, and I would have covered it in a previous episode. So, obviously, so far I've done every single episode of season 1, and the actual plan is to cover all 208 episodes, I believe it is. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. But there was a month gap between my recap of Belly Full of Turkey and is it the limo? Was it the limo? Or was it episode 10? What was it called? Or was it the limo? I can't remember. I think there's an episode in... It's not Belly Full of Turkey. What's episode 10 called? Whatever episode 10 of season 1 of How I Met Your Mother is called, which I've just forgotten. Between that and the limo, there was a month's gap. Now, you will have noticed that kind of there seems to be there is a schedule. So I'm just going to go through this now because I've realised I've not actually explained it. So if you think about it as a 2-day cycle. So on day 1, let's call it, you will have... and this has only ever been the case since I've been doing both episodes. The first episode on day 1 will be a new TV episode, so something that's recently been released. The second episode of on day 1 will be an older Big Finish episode. So at the moment I'm doing the 11th Doctor Chronicles in that slot, and then on day 2 How I Met Your Mother is that in the day 2, and then be a new Big Finish episode 2, if that makes sense. So kind of it's a 2-day cycle. And obviously I have realised that kind of the only issue, like the day 2 is not going to be affected at all, and the day 1 TV episode is not going to really be affected. Obviously it'll be because I'm switching between shows, that one. But day 2 Big Finish episode, which is the new Big Finish episode, that there's not always new Big Finish out every 2 days. Which obviously means that what will happen is a separate series. So I won't be moving the 11th Doctor Chronicles to that slot. I'll be moving on to whatever the next series in my list is and putting it there. So I haven't quite got there, but I will be getting there soon. It's probably the day I'm recording this. I'll probably get to that. But yeah, I just thought I should explain that because I'd realised that I hadn't quite explained it. So yeah, and it seems to be that you all seem to be liking the How I Met Your Mother episodes, which is quite surprising because obviously, as I mentioned at the start of this episode, like this episode specifically came out like 19.5 years ago. That's a long time. So yes, thanks for all the support on all the episodes. And before I the final thing, actually, please go and check out my How I Met Your Mother playlist, where all my recaps of How I Met Your Mother will be located, and I should, as long as I remember, put it at the end of the episode. Anyway, so if you can't find it for whatever reason, it should be there. Without further ado, here is my recap of How I Met Your Mother, The Wedding. We start off with the How I Met Your Mother title sequence. Ted answers an invite for Stuart and Claudia's wedding. A time jump of 2 months and 26 days occurs. Ted speaks to Barney about finding it difficult to find someone to accompany him to Claudia and Stuart's wedding. Ted mentions Robin and Derek. Robin reveals her and Derek just broke up. Barney insults Robin. Ted mentions his feelings towards Robin. Marshall believes what will happen if Ted asks Robin out again. Ted corrects Marshall. Ted mentions his and Robin's numerous kisses. Barney mentions Claudia and Stuart. Claudia reveals... No. What? I merged names there. I think I said Claudia. Lily reveals why she and Marshall are struggling to plan their wedding. Lily mocks Marshall. Marshall reveals his opinion on marriage. Barney mentions Claudia and Stuart being together for 3 years. Ted invites Robin to Stuart and Claudia's wedding. Robin agrees. Robin asks Lily for help dress shopping. Marshall says goodbye to Lily. Ted mentions Barney recently having a manicure. Ted imagines what the wedding will be like with him and Robin together. Ted bumps into Claudia. Claudia raises her voice at a caterer. Claudia threatens this caterer. Ted reveals he is bringing a date to her and Stuart's wedding. Claudia disagrees with this. Claudia threatens Ted. Claudia questions Ted. Ted believes Claudia is acting crazy. Barney mentions Ted being constantly single. Barney believes a little Barney is inside Ted's mind. Ted asks Barney to stop. Marshall asks Ted to let it go. Robin showcases the dress she's wearing at Stuart and Claudia's wedding to Ted. Ted lies to Robin. Ted comes clean to Lily. Ted mentions ninjas. Lily suggests Ted ask Stuart about bringing Robin. Stuart has no problem with Ted inviting Robin to his and Claudia's wedding. No, wrong name there. Ted mentions Claudia's reaction when he talked to her about this. Stuart mentions Claudia's current dress. Ted thanks Stuart. Marshall mentions squirrels. Marshall reveals the issues with Ted asking Stuart about bringing Robin. Marshall brings it back to his and Lily's wedding planning. Lily believes Marshall can decide who attends the wedding. Claudia calls Ted. Ted asks Lily to speak to Claudia. Ted mentions Claudia scaring him. Lily answers Claudia's phone. Older Ted recalls what he believed occurred during Lily's conversation with Claudia. Stuart calls off his wedding with can't call off a wedding with himself. Stuart calls off his wedding with Claudia rather. Lily informs Ted and Marshall of this. Marshall punches Ted. Ted answers a call from Robin for Lily. Marshall convinces Ted to focus on Claudia and Stuart. Lily mentions wrong, not even the right word. Lily meets Claudia. Marshall and Ted meet Stuart. Barney speaks to Claudia. Claudia mentions her and Stuart's breakup. Barney gives the bartender some advice. Barney hugs Claudia. Stuart thanks Ted. Ted attempts to convince Stuart to stay with Claudia. Marshall gives Stuart some advice. Ted reminds Marshall how much Stuart and Claudia's wedding cost. Claudia thanks Barney. Lily attacks and threatens Barney. Stuart and Claudia reunite whilst apologising to each other. Stuart stops Claudia from attacking Marshall. Claudia and Stuart kiss. Stuart also stops Claudia from attacking Ted. Ted and Robin compliment each other's outfits. Robin answers a call. Robin learns she has to anchor the news. Robin mentions Sandy. Ted convinces Robin to say yes to the anchoring gig for tonight. Everyone except Robin attends Claudia and Stuart's wedding. Lily and Marshall agree to something for their wedding. Robin anchors the news. Barney reveals why Stuart gave him hope. Ted mentions Robin not being able to attend Stuart and Claudia's wedding. Ted gives himself some advice. Claudia gives Ted his wedding invite, which meant Barney was correct and Ted chose not to invite a guest. Ted mentions his feelings towards being single. Barney and Ted list things that they can only do when single, and Ted sees Victoria for the first time. And that is my recap of How I Met Your Mother, the wedding. Now, just to not really spoilers, but this seems to be kind of the first time, I know it's only season 1, but the first time where kind of episodes lead on to each other, whereas previously they and were kind of quite standalone, even though they were in an order. But obviously, as I mentioned with the cycle, you should expect my next How I Met Your Mother in 2 days' time. But what is this afternoon's episode, which releases at 3 p.m. GMT? I will be recapping the 7th Doctor Adventures Past Forward Catastrophics. So here is the trailer for the 7th Doctor Adventures Past Forward.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, the 7th Doctor Adventures Past Forward.
I'm not sure closing the door will work.
I reckon we're in the wrong year again.
Oh dear.
Wait here. I'll try and find a newspaper.
Then if there's one inside this room already, you'll have trapped it here with you. You hear that?
What? Harry?
Something in the air. Cries of pain.
Pain?
I have to see them. They can't move if I can see them.
Could you come with us? We have a situation.
Of course you do.
I don't know where to look. Tell me where to look.
Weeping angels. Oh, Doctor, I never thought I'd see you again. Well, you look like you've been in a fire. Your hat's all singed.
Catastrophics. You fix disasters, create them, and then charge people for surviving them.
I'm sorry, Naomi. I would never have sent you to a future like this.
You didn't. The angel did.
One question. You play chess?
Actually, what is that? A chess piece? Nick, seriously, calm down.
They're talking to you, aren't they? Whispering in your ear.
Don't take your eyes off them. Don't blink.
Until the doctor comes.
Yes.
Just keep stirring.
We're not getting out of this, are we?
No, we're not.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the trailer for the 7th Doctor Adventures Pass Forward, and I showed you that because in this afternoon's episode, which releases at 3 PM GMT, I will be recapping the 7th Doctor Adventures Pass Forward Catastrophics. Obviously, yesterday at 3 PM GMT, my recap of the 7th Doctor Adventures Passed Forward. I'm going to say the time because otherwise in different time zone it gets confusing. Passed Forward with the Angels parts 1 and 2, and it will become clear in a couple of days time why I haven't done it all together. So that's what I'm covering tomorrow in my first episode tomorrow. But back to this episode, let me know what you thought of How I Met Your Mother, The Wedding, if you watched it, my recap if you didn't, give me your thoughts on both of those in the comments below, as well with anything else from the channel, such as any previous or recaps, put those in the comments below as well. Remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you at 3 PM GMT for my recap of the 7th Doctor Adventures Passed Forward Catastrophics. See you then. Goodbye.